Today we're going to make a couple of things because it's very short, very easy to make these two things, and you can enjoy them at different times, but you can make them at the same time. The first thing we'll make up is some whipping cream. We saw in the last video our ISI siphon. I have taken that apart, put it in the fridge to cool it down a little bit. So with a chilled siphon, we can fill it up with cream to the fill line, and you can see it has a fill line right there. Tells you how much is the max. Don't go over that or it won't properly whip. So we'll probably go about 3/4 of that, and then we're going to add some vanilla, and it's about a tablespoon and a half, maybe 2 tablespoons of vanilla. And then I like to use allulose for whipped cream with one twist. So we're going to use tablespoons of allulose. 3 tablespoons of allulose. And for the final tablespoon of sweetener, we're going to add monk fruit. And that monk fruit sweetener is going to give it the little bit of sweetness that tastes like sugar. Allulose is a sweetener, but it doesn't quite have that sugar sweetness that you might want in your whipped cream. This will give you that sugar sweetness without giving you the sugar carbs. And once we get all of our ingredients in there, just to have it consistent throughout, I like to stir it first a little bit with a chopstick. And if you don't have a siphon, you can still make this whipped cream in the regular manner using a hand blender or a countertop mixer. But the siphon makes it nice and quick and easy, and it's pretty cool if you have people over and you can kind of make a nice dessert and put whipped cream on it without plopping it on with a spoon at the table. You have to get these NO2 cartridges separate. I recommend NO2 cartridges with anything. You may have heard that charge, but I recommend NO2 cartridges for anything that has a high fat content, such as cream. NO2 works better than CO2 for that application. If you get the right gas for the application, it'll mix it better. It'll work much better. We purchased this siphon at a kitchen store in Anchorage, Alaska, but you can purchase these online or at your local kitchen store. They're really kind of neat. In some places, if the cartridges have to be flown in, you may have a hard time getting them. Up here in Fairbanks, we have a hard time finding these cartridges, so we go to Anchorage to pick them up. Apparently they're shipped in on a barge or something, but anyway, nice whipped cream. Let me grab a spoon and I'll give you, and just shake this down.
Ooh, I get to be a taste tester.
And you want to taste tester that for me? Real creamy.
Very yummy.
Let me get that off of there a little bit more. And then right into the fridge. Right into the fridge. Keep it cool. You'll really enjoy that on some berries or whatever. That has no carbs, but it does have calories. So 1 tablespoon of whipping cream has 60 calories. So if you're to the point in your journey where you're counting calories, you might have to be aware of that a little. Allulose doesn't have a calorie problem. There are no net carbs in allulose, and of course vanilla is vanilla. So not much there that's going to harm you. that is our quick and easy whipped cream. Like I
Yep.
say, you can make that. You can whip it by hand. You can use a hand mixer or a stand mixer or the ISI siphon. We really like it. Well, it tastes better than the whipped cream you buy at the store,
yeah.
or at least just as good. So the next thing we're gonna make is a staple. This keeps us from losing our minds with cravings and everything else when you want, or just for a little extra snack. So this is a peanut butter fat bomb that we're gonna make, and you're just gonna love these things. You're gonna keep them in your freezer all the time, and you're gonna make sure you always have some on hand. So we start off with half a cup of peanut butter. You can use any peanut butter. I've used the chunky ones before, but the one I prefer is the Skippy no sugar added peanut butter. And this is a very creamy peanut butter. It gives a good texture to the fat bombs, and of course it has less sugar content. So this is a good peanut butter to use. It has very minimal carbs. I think there's 2, maybe 3 net carbs for like a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons of this peanut butter. So really good peanut butter to use for your low carb diet. Once I have my peanut butter in the bowl, I'm going to cream it with some sugar. Actually, we don't eat sugar, so we're going to use allulose. And we're going to put 4 tablespoons of allulose. Kind of easy to remember. Whipping cream and fat bombs have 4 tablespoons of allulose. We buy it online on Amazon. It's zeros all the way down, no carbs. It's actually interesting because it has the same chemical composition as sugar, except one of the carbons apparently is flipped or something, so it doesn't have the effect of spiking blood sugar, which is what makes it a unique sugar, and it may in fact even have some type of health benefit, but I don't know much about that. But that's what I'm told. So we're just gonna cream this together. You want to use a nice stiff spatula or a wooden spoon with this, but I broke wooden spoons doing this before, so be careful with wooden spoons. But this spatula is these are nice stiff spatulas. You can pick them up at Walmart or wherever.
Fred Meyer's, yeah.
Fred Meyer or wherever, or your local kitchen store, which is, I always like supporting the local kitchen store because they keep all the cool gadgets like our siphon. So that you can see that's all creamed together, and that's going to be our base.
All right.
So the next thing we do is we're going to add some cream cheese. We're going to add a complete 8-ounce package of cream cheese. But we don't just want to put it straight in there. And the reason is because it just came out of the fridge, so it's cold. And you want to be able to whip this into your peanut butter mixture without having one big Popeye arm, because it takes you so long to mix this cold cream cheese into the peanut butter. So we're going to just stick that in the microwave for a quick 30 seconds, and we're going to soften that cream cheese up. That cream cheese is then going to mix really well with our peanut butter and allulose, and that's all there really is to this. So we're going to stick that in, cream it together, and then we're going to roll it into small balls of about a tablespoon roughly per each. That makes it really nice if you're logging your macros and your calories, to be able to know how much of this stuff you're eating, because that's always the big, that's always the hard part, right? Is to identify what's in your food and be able to properly track your macros and your calories. So one thing about, a good thing about a very low carb diet is that we're interested in getting rid of carbs, but We're not necessarily interested in counting calories at this point. We're just concerned about our macros. So anyway, we're going to mix in this cream cheese until this whole thing is brown. We don't want white streaks in it. We don't want, we just want this to be all the same color and consistency all the way through.
That looks good.
And we're going to do this by hand, and you may say, well, you may ask why we don't use the KitchenAid with this, but I just never have. I've always done these by hand, and I just like putting it together by hand. Very simple, very quick and easy, and something that you are going to want to have in your fridge all the time. You'll take these and put them in your fridge at work if you have such a thing at work, so that you have some on hand all day long. And you can see as this gets put together, you can see that it starts pulling away from the bowl really easy. You can see there's a change in consistency.
Yep.
A change in, like the peanut butter was sticking to the bowl earlier. But yeah, so you can see this whole thing pulls away and kind of, yeah, it's a different consistency than just the peanut butter.
Okay.
But it does that once you get that completely mixed. So now, after I do that, and this is not really part of the fat bomb per se, but I like to add a little, it makes it more interesting if you add a little bit of something on the outside. So we've used coconut on the outsides of these. We rolled them in shredded coconut. This time we're going to use some chopped hazelnuts and some sliced almonds that we've kind of crunched up. And it just gives it a little bit of crunchy, something interesting, something different. So we'll put a little bit of that on a paper plate, and we'll just roll these up into balls. We'll kind of drop them in our mixture, roll them around there a little bit, and then we'll put them on this other plate. And what we're going to do with that plate is we're going to put these in the freezer. And you'll see them set up real nice. And these ones are a little wet. That's the way I describe it. They're a little wet. And that I think that's because they have more cream cheese than probably a higher thing of cream cheese. I think I've made these differently before with a higher peanut butter content, and they don't tend to like stick to your hands as much with the higher peanut butter content, believe it or not. So it's kind of messy. If you live in a really hot climate, or you have a mix that's a little loose like this one is, you can do one of two things. You can add a little peanut butter and that'll stiffen this up a little bit, or you can put this bowl of mixture in the fridge and let it get a little cold and set up a little bit, and it just makes it less messy and makes it so it doesn't stick to your hands as bad. But with enough of the oil from the peanut butter, it shouldn't be too bad. I'm going to roll these up, and I'm going to put them on a plate, and I'm going to stick them in the freezer, and then we'll come back and we'll show you what they look like when we pull them out. Okay, so we've had the fat bombs in the freezer for a little bit. We're going to pull them out. Half of them are gone already. Go ahead and try one.
Ooh.
See, now they're nice and firm.
Big one.
They're nice and firm. They hold up for quite a while out of the freezer.
That is so good.
You can see they have a nice thick texture. They're more like a candy bar than a blob of too hot cream and peanut butter.
I'll zoom that in for you.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you can make them with a little more peanut butter, a little less peanut butter, depending on how you want them to taste. These have a little more cream cheese to peanut butter. I didn't have quite as much peanut butter in as I usually put in, but they're still really good, and you can't screw these up. So you'll really enjoy these, and for low carb eating, they're one of the best things you'll eat. We also have a bowl of berries here that we're going to put our whipped cream on, just so you can see this siphon again. We'll shake that up. Shake the cream down to the bottom.
Oh, that looks good.
And some nice whipped cream that we'll put on some berries and eat this morning.
I'll zoom into that one. Look at that.
It's good.
It is good.
And it's not too many berries. You just have to watch out with berries. So raspberries have more carbs than other berries, so we limit those. We might have 2 or 3 raspberries when we eat them. Blueberries are kind of carby, so a partial handful. Blackberries, however, don't have so many carbs, so you can eat a few more of those. Enjoy these 2 recipes. They kind of give a sweet twist to a low carb meal, which is unusual. We'll have some more low carb sweet treats for you later, as well as some cheese type snackies,
Pickled cheese,
and we'll show you how to cook good steaks. We'll show you how to cook good chicken every time, so that you can eat low carb without eating cardboard, destroying the expensive meats that you buy. We hope you enjoy.